Police detain, release cotton candy vendor in school incident. Newsroom. A 24-year-old cotton candy vendor was temporarily detained following an incident involving students at Marion Academy in Georgetown. The arrest occurred after two students, aged 12 and 11, reported an encounter with the vendor's vehicle on the school premises on November 1st. According to the Guyana police force, the students noticed a silver Toyota Fielder with heavily tinted windows parked in the northern section of the school compound. The vendor, a man of African descent with braided hair, was accompanied by a female passenger. Reports indicate that he rolled down the vehicle's rear window and offered the students cotton candy, which they declined. The students took note of the car's license plate, which helped police trace the vehicle. Police were unable to locate the vendor initially, but an all-station message was issued to aid in his detention. On the evening of November 7th, the vendor presented himself at La Parfaite Harmony police station and admitted to being the driver of the vehicle in question, which he stated belongs to his sister. He explained that he had driven to Marion Academy to sell cotton candy to students but remained in his vehicle, aware of the school's prohibition on vendors entering the compound. The man and his 22-year-old girlfriend, who was also in the vehicle, were taken into custody, and a search of the vendor's home uncovered cotton candy supplies and vending equipment. The car was impounded as police continued their investigation. Following public concern about the vendor's arrest, the Commissioner of Police ordered his release and the return of his vehicle. The investigation remains ongoing. Woman allegedly scams multiple tenants with single apartment rental. Kaider News. A woman in Georgetown, reportedly using multiple aliases and contact numbers, has allegedly scammed at least 7 people by renting out the same East Ruimveldt apartment to multiple tenants, collecting close to $1 million Guyanese in down payments before disappearing. According to reports from victims, she posted photos of the apartment on Facebook Marketplace, promising availability soon after payments were made. The tenants paid deposits ranging from $60,000 to $120,000 each, hoping to move in on agreed-upon dates. However, when the moving date arrived, they found that the apartment was already occupied or that the woman had blocked their numbers. Frustrated, victims like Ashanti Griffith, who paid $90,000 in September, and Alicia Garaya, who paid $120,000, contacted local authorities but have yet to recover their funds. Garaya recounted how the woman initially claimed delays due to a family emergency before blocking all contact. Some victims reported finding new contact details for the alleged scammer, only for her to block them again. Despite a cousin of the alleged scammer initially offering to repay the victims, the growing number of complainants has left most without restitution. Public Facebook posts by victims have drawn out more affected individuals, with one commenter, Shubat Caesar, sharing that she, too, paid $90,000 and received a receipt before losing contact with the woman. Authorities have launched an investigation, but the woman remains at large, with concerns growing that she may continue her fraudulent activities. Second suspect in attempted murder of 6-year-old remanded, raises questions in court. Kaider News. Odell Garnett, also known as Crab, one of the suspects in the attempted murder of 6-year-old Jeremiah Gustav, was further remanded to prison on Wednesday. During his court appearance, Garnett questioned why he was still in custody when his co-accused, Marlon Wilberg, known as Miceman, had been released following a decision by the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, to withdraw charges against him. Appearing before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty, Garnett voiced concerns over his continued detention, stating, "Your Worship, the person who get the same charge with me. How he get release and I still in jail?" Garnett also asserted that Wilberg was responsible for the shooting incident, claiming that Wilberg's involvement was significant. Magistrate McGusty explained to Garnett that the decision regarding Wilberg's release was made by the DPP, not by the police prosecutor. Prosecutor Sean Williams informed the court that he did not have Garnett's case file at present and requested a 3-week adjournment. Consequently, Garnett was remanded to prison until his next court appearance on November 27, 2024. During the proceedings, the young victim's mother, Keisha Gustav, addressed the court, stating that her son Jeremiah remains in critical condition following a third surgery at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC. Jeremiah was initially injured on July 9, 2024, when he was struck in the head by a bullet during an altercation in Charles Street, Charlestown, Georgetown. His recovery continues in the pediatric ward at GPHC. Garnett was initially detained on August 2, 2024, while Wilberg had been remanded on July 29, 2024. The incident left the 6-year-old primary school student seriously injured, and his family continues to advocate for justice as he battles for recovery. Venezuelan man sentenced to 9 months in prison after pleading guilty to stealing. Guyana News. A 32-year-old Venezuelan man, Winston Phillips, has been sentenced to 9 months in prison after pleading guilty to stealing generator batteries valued at $120,000 from the Ministry of Home Affairs during a blackout. Phillips appeared in Georgetown Magistrates Court before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty, where he admitted to the charge of simple larceny. The incident took place on November 3, 2024, when Phillips entered the ministry's compound during a power outage and stole 2 generator batteries. His actions were captured on CCTV, showing him removing the batteries and escaping through an eastern fence under construction. An employee discovered the theft while attempting to start the generator, leading to an investigation. Phillips was later arrested, confessed to the crime, and helped the police recover the stolen batteries. In court, he expressed regret, saying only, "I ain't know what to say, sorry for that." Contractor granted $200,000 bail after shooting longtime friend. Guyana News. A 37-year-old contractor, Daniel Spellin, has been granted bail in the sum of $200,000 after being charged with discharging a loaded firearm with the intent to cause grievous bodily harm to his longtime friend, Kerwin Saul. The incident occurred on October 31, 2024, in Freeman Street, East La Penitence, Georgetown. Spellin appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where he pleaded not guilty to the charge. According to the police report, the incident happened while Spellin and Saul were socializing with friends. Saul reportedly observed Spellin handling a firearm and questioned its safety. Spellin assured him that it was not loaded. Moments later, Saul felt a burning sensation in his leg and realized he had been injured. He was transported to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC, where he received treatment and was later discharged in stable condition. Spellin was subsequently arrested on November 5. During questioning, he stated that the firearm accidentally discharged as he and Saul handled it. Representing Spellin, attorney Clyde Ford argued for reasonable bail, citing that the discharge was accidental and emphasizing that Spellin is not a flight risk. The prosecution, however, opposed bail due to the seriousness of the charge. Magistrate McGusty granted bail with conditions, requiring Spellin to report to the East La Penitence police station regularly. Further court proceedings are scheduled for November 22, 2024. Bartica businessman and wife face narcotics trafficking charges. Colin Obermuller, 44, a businessman from Bartica known as Kabuk, and his 25-year-old wife, Autricia Alexander, have been formally charged with possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. The charges were brought under Section 5(1)(a)(I) of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Act, Chapter 1010. The couple, who reside at Lot 53 3rd Avenue, Bartica, appeared before His Worship Mr. Tariq Muhammad at the Bartica Magistrates Court, where they jointly faced the narcotics charge. Both pleaded not guilty, and the court granted each of them bail set at $150,000. The case has been adjourned and is scheduled for continuation on December 5, 2024. 2 individuals charged for break-and-enter and larceny in Bartica. John Galit, 21, and Naresh Prasad, 20, have been charged with break-and-enter and larceny following an alleged incident on November 5, 2024. The charge was laid under Section 229A of the Criminal Law Offenses Act, Chapter 801. The 2 appeared at the Bartica Magistrates Court before His Worship Mr. Tariq Muhammad, where both pleaded not guilty. Bail was granted in the amount of $100,000 each. The case has been adjourned and will continue on November 21, 2024. The charges relate to an alleged break-and-enter incident targeting a 62-year-old businessman from 4th Avenue, Bartica. Police investigate alleged shooting incident involving 14-year-old boy at Durban Park. Police are currently investigating an alleged shooting incident involving a 14-year-old male student from Beebe Field, Sophia, which occurred at approximately 22:40 hours on November 7, 2024, near Durban Park, Georgetown. According to the youth, he and a companion, known only as Ranks, encountered a female on Charlotte Street. The boy reported that Ranks approached the woman, brandished a cutlass, and took her handbag. They then fled south along Albert Street as several bystanders began to pursue them. The 14-year-old turned east on South Road, while Ranks escaped in an unknown direction. The boy reported that the pursuers caught up with him near Durban Park, where they allegedly assaulted him with kicks and punches. During the altercation, he heard a loud explosion and felt a burning sensation on the left side of his chest. The attackers then fled as other bystanders arrived and assisted the boy. The student was subsequently taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC, where he was treated for a gunshot wound to the chest and admitted to the male medical ward in stable condition. Efforts to locate ranks, the female involved, and the individuals who allegedly assaulted and shot the boy have so far been unsuccessful. Police have processed the scene and interviewed several witnesses as investigations continue. 2 men charged in connection with staged multi-million-dollar robbery. 2 men, Paramdio Victor of Rosignol and Cornell Taylor of Ithaca, West Burbus, appeared in the Vigilance Magistrates Court today on charges related to a staged multi-million-dollar robbery. The men faced charges of simple larceny, contrary to Section 164 of the Criminal Law, Offenses, Act Chapter 801. Additionally, Victor was charged with making a false report under Section 200 of the Summary Jurisdiction, Offenses, Act, Chapter 802. In court, Victor and Taylor were not required to enter a plea. The virtual complainant, VC, requested to withdraw evidence against the accused, as the remaining sum of $2,150,000 was returned as compensation. However, Magistrate Wilson set bail at $150,000 for both men and adjourned the matter to December 13, 2024. Legal advice is currently being sought from the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, regarding the case. For the charge of making a false report, Victor pled guilty and was fined $30,000 with the alternative of 18 months imprisonment. His arrest followed a confession on Thursday, in which he admitted to staging a robbery to misappropriate $10 million from a jeweler who had employed him to transport cash from Georgetown to Burbus. Government aims to install additional power supply ahead of Christmas. The government of Guyana is working to secure an additional power supply to boost the national grid in time for the holiday season. Plans are underway to introduce a new power ship that will add approximately 60 megawatts (MW) to the Demerara-Burbus Interconnected System (DBIS), providing much-needed electricity to communities across Guyana. Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party (PPP), confirmed the news during a recent press conference. He noted that a bid from the Turkish company, which supplied the currently operating power ship, has been received and is under review. In addition to the power ship, the government is installing 5 kilometers of transmission mains. This project, expected to be completed within 6 weeks, will ensure a stable connection between the power source and the DBIS. Due to delays in material availability, the project has sourced some components locally to expedite the timeline. We are borrowing material as needed and expect the power ship to be operational before Christmas, providing relief for the holiday period, Dr. Jagdeo stated. Upon arrival at Everton on the East Bank Burbus, the new power ship will add to the existing infrastructure and potentially be joined by another source contributing an additional 75 megawatts. This setup is anticipated to extend support for 2 years, providing a bridge until a new, permanent power plant is operational. The government previously signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Urbicon Concessions Investments, WLL, UCI, a subsidiary of UCC Holdings in Qatar, in collaboration with Car Power Ship International, to lease the ship. Once integrated, this temporary solution will allow existing power plants to undergo essential maintenance, fortifying the national power infrastructure. Minister Susan Rodrigues commissions potable water supply for Bamia community. On Wednesday, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodrigues, symbolically turned on a water main in Bamia, a community along the Linden-Soesdijk Highway. This milestone marks the first time that residents of Bamia, a community of approximately 200 families, now have reliable access to potable water. For over 30 years, Bamia residents have struggled to secure daily water, often fetching it from distant sources. Speaking during a site visit, Minister Rodrigues highlighted the impact of this development on residents' lives. This is a significant ease on their burden of having to think every day about sourcing water. Now, water is brought directly to their homes. Minister Rodrigues recalled her visit to Bamia a year ago when residents expressed their challenges due to the lack of a local water source. In response, the government committed to improving water access. Our target is to ensure 100% access to potable water by the end of 2025, Rodrigues stated, affirming the government's commitment to sustainable and equitable water access across Guyana. Drilling for the well presented initial challenges, as securing a commercially viable water source required additional efforts to bring productivity up to necessary levels. Despite these obstacles, the ministry successfully completed the project, underscoring the government's dedication to improving living standards in underserved communities. This achievement is part of a broader push toward universal access to potable water in Guyana. PPP/C government announces increased old age pension for 2025 with enhanced security measures for pension books. The People's Progressive Party/Civic, PPP/C, government has announced an increase in the old age pension to $41,000 per month, starting in 2025. This adjustment represents a $5,000 boost from the current $36,000 monthly pension and reflects the government's commitment to fulfilling its manifesto promise of supporting Guyana's senior citizens. To address recent concerns over pension book duplication, PPP/C General Secretary Dr. Bara stated in his weekly press conference that discussions have been held with Minister of Finance Dr. Ashni Singh. These discussions focused on incorporating advanced security features into the pension books to prevent duplication and protect pensioners from fraudulent activities. We informed Dr. Singh that the new books would need to incorporate distinct security elements that make them challenging to replicate, Dr. Jagdeo said. Recent reports circulated on social media have alleged a possible $150 million pension book theft within the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, with concerns that duplicated books may be enabling unauthorized access to pensioners' funds. Dr. Jagdeo confirmed that the Guyana police force has been briefed on the issue, which he described as an old matter under investigation. I expect that appropriate action will be taken against any individuals involved, with charges filed and a full application of the law, he noted. To reassure pensioners, Dr. Jagdeo added that every effort would be made to avoid delays in distributing the new pension books. The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security recently announced via its Facebook page that the distribution of the 2025 pension books is slated for later this year, with a specific date to be confirmed. This increase in the pension amount, along with efforts to safeguard pension book distribution, underscores the government's dedication to improving the well-being and financial security of Guyana's elderly population. PNCR leader pursues coalition talks with AFC ahead of 2025 elections. News source Guyana. Leader of the People's National Congress Reform, PNCR, Aubrey Norton, announced today his plans to meet with Alliance for Change, AFC, leader Nigel Hughes to explore potential collaboration. Although a specific date, time, and agenda for the meeting remain undetermined, Norton expressed interest in forming a coalition before the 2025 general elections. Norton emphasized that any coalition should reflect the relative strength of the involved political parties. We believe coalition should reflect the strength of the political parties, he said, adding that the PNCR seeks a partnership that represents the broad support of the Guyanese people with the aim of winning the next elections. As the largest opposition party, the PNCR has historically collaborated with the AFC and other smaller parties. In 2011, the PNCR formed a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, which later joined forces with the AFC in 2015 under the Commingsburg Accord, successfully winning that year's elections and unseating the long-ruling People's Progressive Party/Civic, PPP/C. However, after the coalition's defeat in the 2020 elections, the AFC opted not to renew the Commingsburg Accord. The Working People's Alliance, WPA, has also recently voiced its support for a united opposition, stressing the importance of a joint challenge to the ruling PPP/C in the upcoming elections. Meanwhile, the government has urged the Elections Commission to prepare for the elections by August 2025, indicating a clear timeline for both sides to organize their respective campaigns. Police investigating robbery at Stor Housing Scheme. Police are currently investigating a robbery that occurred at the home of 29-year-old welder Michael Brandt and his girlfriend, 26-year-old Alana Bamfield, early this morning in Stor Housing Scheme. At approximately 1:15 HRS, Brandt and his girlfriend returned home and were entering their yard when they were ambushed by an unidentified male suspect. The suspect, who was wearing a dark hoodie, approached them, brandished a handgun, and demanded they surrender their belongings. The victims complied, handing over a total of $130,000 in cash, 2 Samsung cell phones valued at $100,000, and 2 gold chains worth $120,000. As the suspect attempted to flee, a scuffle ensued between him and Brandt. During the altercation, the suspect discharged a round from his firearm. The suspect then fled the scene in an unknown direction. A police investigation was launched, and the scene was processed. A live 9mm round of ammunition and a pair of black sneakers were recovered at the scene. Authorities are continuing their investigations into the robbery, and efforts to identify and apprehend the suspect are ongoing.